Hi, welcome back to Waxing On. It's Wednesday, and today we're looking at another singer, songwriter from New Orleans. Now, we've already talked about a number of New Orleans artists before: Al Hirt, Harry Connick Jr., Alan Toussaint. Today we're looking at the music of legendary Dr. John. The CD is called Afterglow, and it's the one Dr. John CD that I have. Now, I received it as a Christmas gift one year. Again, really had not a lot of exposure to him, although I knew who he was. You know, I'd heard of him before, but he's not the kind of person that gets a lot of airplay on radio. I don't even know if he was getting a lot of exposure through television as much, although he was somebody I was well aware of. Anyways, this is an album. I'm just going to read you a little bit what's in the beginning of it to give you an idea what the album really was all about. It says this is a collection of songs that a period from the late 40s through the mid 50s that saw the flowering of such immortals as Louis Jordan, Nat King Cole, Charles Brown, Joe Williams, and other stars of the late golden age of jazz. Now, we have already talked about Louis Jordan before. We talked about Joe Williams with some of the recordings he made with Count Basie's band. There's also a couple of tunes here that Dr. John had written as well. So, I mean, we've got a mix of some of these older tunes and some new tunes that he's put together. Let's just give you an idea what's on here. Firstly, we've got I Know What I've Got, Louis Jordan tune. So we got some jump tunes in here. Gee Baby, Ain't I Good to You? We've got a song called I'm a Lucky So-and-So by Duke Ellington. Irving Berlin for Blue Skies. Again, a classic tune. I mean, I think of Willie Nelson, another one that did a great version of this song. We've got So Long. We've got New York City Blues. Now that one written by Dr. John and Doc Pomus. And they seem to write often together. Tell Me You Wait For Me. There Must Be a Better World Somewhere. That's another one with Doc Pomus and Mac Rubinek, or Dr. John. I Still Think About You, another Dr. John tune, and we wrap it up with I'm Confessing I Love You. Now, the key here to me was the musicians he had on the album. I mean, these are great tunes. There's some great covers that he's done. Here's our rhythm section. We got Dr. John on piano, Ray Brown on bass, and we've talked about Ray Brown before. I mean, he is one of the legendary bass players, West Coast. We talked about him with Oscar Peterson. He's worked with Quincy Jones. Again, Ray Brown, pole winner, just a legend. John Clayton on bass on a couple of the other tunes. We got Philip Upchurch on guitar, Larry Bunker on percussion, and Lenny Castro on percussion as well with Blue Skies. Now, here's the one that I enjoyed, Big Band. Yeah, we had a big band in there. We got a string section, but we've also got a big band. We got arrangements by John Clayton and arrangements by Alan Broadbent. Now, Alan Broadbent, during the 70s, was doing, you know, a fair bit of arranging for Woody Herman's big band. So this is somebody I was well aware of. I'm going to save the trumpet section for you. We'll get to that in a section because, I mean, that's really what I'm listening for. In the sax session, Pete Chrislieb, and again, another name that's very familiar here, doing some soloing. Jeff Clayton, Ron Cooper, Gary Foster, Charles Owens, Kim Richmond, and Tom Scott, who we've talked about not only with his own albums, but when he was playing with LA Express behind Joni Mitchell, and also with the Blues Brothers. So we featured Tom Scott a few times on here again. Let's see the trombone players. Okay, we got George Bohan, Thurland Green, Ira Nepes, Maurice Spears, and Bill Watrous. And, you know, Bill's one of my favorites too. We've covered him with his own band, the Manhattan Wildlife Refuge, Brass Connection, another album that we looked at, plus solo work that he's done. And he was just an epic trombone player. Another great legend. Now, trumpet section. Okay, Dave Trigg, Oscar Brashear, Ray Brown, different Ray Brown, Charlie Davis, Steve Hofstetter, Clay Jenkins, Warren Ludwig. Session player, well known in the West Coast, and my buddy Rick Baptist, who's appeared on more albums and more movie soundtracks and more TV soundtracks than I can count. I mean, it was such a treat to open this up and find out that Warren and Rick were both playing on this album. I mean, that made that album even something more special to me than just what it was with Dr. John's performances and Ray Brown in there as well. It's just a great bunch of musicians, a great selection of cover tunes from the old Louis Jordan up to some great tunes that Dr. John has put together just himself and with Doc Pomus. Afterglow. Well worth checking out. That's it for Wednesday. Not really classic rock, but some classic music from Dr. John. We'll see you again on Friday. Until then, everybody take care. Stay safe. Thanks for stopping by.